Twitter loves arguing with the exception, not the rule. You know, I'm gonna be a boomer for a second. Well, I'm gonna be a boomer as I usually am, but I'm gonna say something extra boomer. The internet used to have barriers to entry. And if you wanted to go into a social space and speak on the internet, there were barriers, you know, like having to be able to operate a computer well, having to be able to interact nicely with a group because, you know, smaller communities and more moderation and all that per person, etc., etc. But just a lot of barriers, right? Those all got taken away, and social media got, like, you know, it became this very accessible thing where anyone can use it and anyone can speak on there, and no one is held back from this. Like, nobody. So long as they have a device, you could be anyone and be typing out shit. So it ain't what it was. It ain't what it was, you know? And I don't think it should be gatekept. I'm all for people having more information, having more accessibility to things. I think that's great, but it's given everyone this sense of what they say is important, and they all have their soapbox moments. And I miss when majority of conversation was all in person, because people didn't say 80% of the shit out loud that they were thinking because they were in a room of people and they were hyper aware of themselves, you know? So when you have a shit take and you're standing in a room and you say it, people on the spot in real time looking at you in the eyes would be like, that's a shit take. And then you're like, oh, okay, you know, and like you get that immediate feedback. On the internet, you can type your shit take and like leave it. And it's just, it's, you know, with things being the way they are, that person's not gonna learn anything. Or even if it's a good take, like, no one cares. I think that's the other thing. People think people care. No one does. But everyone types and feels like they really said something, and people should listen when they type it. No one cares, man. I think that's the thing I don't like, right? Everyone's given this sense of, like, what I say matters. And I'm not trying to say that you're, you know, you're an insignificant, puny little whatever, or anything like that. But you're like one out of many billions of people. And I think people lose that concept of just how small they are in this huge crowd. They really lose that perspective of that. They think they're really special. And I think everyone's actually just pretty normal. And they're forgetting that they're pretty normal. You don't matter. Well, the thing is, you don't matter to a lot of other people. And you shouldn't. No human has the capacity to care about what literally everyone else is saying. And I think it's because people get on the internet and they are like that a little bit. They try to care about what a lot of other people are saying, that they get depressed from social media and shit. Because people aren't built for that. Not at all. There's like a sweet spot of how big a community should be, how many people you should know, right? To kind of like be mentally good. And that's a big spectrum. It can fluctuate, but, you know, humans are kind of meant to operate in small groups. Exactly. So when everyone's thrust into that like wider stage, they don't really adapt that well. They really don't. And that's, you know, my boomer thought of the days. It ain't good. The internet ain't good for a lot of people.